So over the winter, I had an idea for the four-wheeler, specifically involving the winch and the plow mount. So I bought one of these, which is a 10-inch fairlead mount for your winch cable to go through. And what my idea is to take this and mount it right there, get a 10-inch fairlead to bolt in there. And using my smaller one as an example, what I would do is take out this top roller and then cut this part out here, because the way that plow works is you hook it on and then it uses the winch to lift the plow up and down. But if I need to drag something down the trail or out of my way, I can't use my winch because it rides on the top of the blade. So to give a better example, this is how the plow works. It uses the winch to lift the blade of the plow up and down. But what I can do is flip the winch into free spin, unhook this, but with the size of the plow, when I pull the winch out to wherever I need to, I hook it up and I start pulling, it rides on the top of the blade here, which is what I'm hoping this will prevent. With another set of rollers being mounted on this plate, then I could just drop it in, do whatever I have to do, and not have to worry about messing up my cable. So because the plow lives on the four-wheeler during the winter, that bracket needs to be painted. Bare steel is going to rust pretty quick. So we're going to get that painted, and if anybody has any better ideas, let me know. But for now, we're going with that. So part 2 of the fairlead project, the bracket's no longer hanging there because it's already done painted. So what I have here is a 10-inch fairlead from Amazon. I'm going to pull the rollers off of it just so I don't nick them with the angle grinder. It's clamped down, cuts are marked, time to cut it out. Got everything flattened out. Now it's time to put it all in one piece. Alrighty, got it bolted on. All the spinners spin. This thing is not going anywhere. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to test it today. That will have to be a separate video. I'll probably put ye old shitbox in neutral and roll it, because I know that winch can do it. It's done it before, but I want to do a good stress test on what I built, and if it breaks, it needs to be fixed anyway. But unfortunately, I just do not have the time. I need to get packed, and I get to drive from Delaware down to Georgia for a funeral. So, guess I'll have to wait. The day has finally come for me to test the fairlead project to see if I wasted my time or if this actually works. So the idea was, when the plow is hooked up to the four-wheeler during the winter, I can't use the winch for anything winchy, because the winch has to stay hooked here so that I can actually raise and lower the plow. If I were to take this off and try to drape it over the top of the plow to move something out of the trail, I can't really do that because the cable would ride on the top of the blade. So I cut the top out of this fairlead to allow me to just drop the cable in and still be able to use the winch and hopefully not tear up the cable too much. So if you're going down the trail and you come across half a dead tree laying across your path, you drop your plow, put your winch into free spool, unhook, drag your hook out, and hook it up to your half a dead tree. Don't do what I always do. Put your winch back into winch mode instead of free spool. Then you give it the old "don't try this at home, kids," and let her eat. Now, I don't expect the four-wheeler to be able to move a tree, but it proves concept that it will now ride on this roller rather than on the top of the blade and end up eating apart my cable like that. So there's probably a good reason why something like this isn't a thing. I've never seen something like it done before, but overall, I'd say it works just fine. It's going to get a workout this winter, so if something breaks, I'll be out here fixing it. And if I really want to, I could even put lights in the holes back here and just put a quick plug on it. That way I have lights on my plow. That might be a good idea. Brilliance? Doubtful. Redneckery? Yes. Stupid? And I did think about winch physics because it's actually riding on here instead of coming straight out of the winch, so it's not going to have as much pulling power, yada 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 yada. But realistically, at the end of the day, that is a 3,500 pound winch on a four-wheeler. If I'm pulling something out of my way big enough to hurt this thing, I should have gotten something bigger. But since I'm on the subject, I'd really like to come up with a better way to hook and unhook this plow when it's not in use, i.e. 9 months out of the year, because this pin system is a pain in the ass to hook up because you have to line it up perfectly. And if you're not on a perfectly flat piece of ground, you need a pair of pliers to get these stupid pins out with. And even that can be a pain. I'm trying to think of a way to make connecting this a lot easier than what it is, without sacrificing ground clearance. Because the other months out of the year that there's not a chance of snow, I'm still using the four-wheeler to do four-wheeler things. And I can't really think of anything without leaving this part attached to the four-wheeler at all times year-round, which would cause me to lose 4 or 5 inches of ground clearance, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the four-wheeler already doesn't sit that high off the ground, so I don't know if that's really an option. Maybe I'll just keep doing it the way I'm doing it. Maybe one of these videos will blow up and the collective mind of the internet will be able to help me out. But for what I have right now, I am more than happy with it. It definitely works. Can't say that it's brilliant, but it's definitely some redneckery.